This is Sheila and we're about to do a stretch body awareness class. Let's start with our feet in a parallel position. I'm turning to the diagonal so you can see what I'm doing. We're working with the right shoulder here. So we're going to press the shoulder forward, lift it up to the back and down. Keep it going forward, lift it up and back and down. Two more, so we're making big circles. Lift, back and down. Once more, forward, lift it up and back and down. Hand comes on the shoulder and we put our attention to our elbow here. Lifting, up, around, and now let's bend our knees so we have a little softening in the body as we make these circles with our elbow, trying to keep our heads really focused on that elbow. I see that elbow. Here's our third one. Lift up and bend and around. We're trying to make the biggest circles that we can. Lift and back and down. Now extend the arm and we're going to reach forward. Lift it up. See the fingers. Back, arc back and down. Letting our body go in the direction that our hand is leading us. Up and back and down. Two more. You may find that you can touch the floor this time. Lift way up, back and down. Drop it down, lift, all the way up and back. Let's do one more. And drop down, drape it, push it through. Lift it up to the back and come down. Now we're folding out the hips, the front of the hips. You're going to notice the side we just worked on feels a little more ease here. Drop that head. Let's shake it. No. And then shake it. Yes. Again. No. And then yes. Good. Now let's roll up through the spine, keeping the knees bent. So we're rolling, engaging abdominals, feeling that spine start to stretch out and come up. Right. Let's take that to the other side. So left shoulder, legs stay straight, forward. Lift it up to the back and down. Push it forward. Big circle up to the back and down. Two more. Forward. Lift it up to the back and down. Once more. Forward. Lift it up and back and down. Fold the hand in. Switch the focus to the elbow there. Following it. Lift it up. Now you can allow your knees to bend at any point. Drop it down. Push it through. Let the body do a little undulation there. Lifts all the way back to the diagonal and down. Two more. Focusing on that elbow. Lift it up. Good. To the back and down. Last one. Push it forward. Lift it up. All the way back and down. Extend the arm. Now following those fingers with those eyes. All the way up. Lift it. Bend. Arc back and down. And reaching forward, letting the rest of your body do whatever it needs to do to accommodate this movement. And two more. Maybe you touch the floor. Lift, reach. Come all the way up. Arc it back as far as you can go. And down. And push through. Good. Lift it up. And arc it back. And come down. Again, we're going to stay down here. We're going to keep our knees bent. We've got a fold right here, and our heads are loose. We're going to take circles with the top of our head. So if you have a ponytail like I do, you're putting the ponytail down towards the floor and circling. And the other direction. And you notice you're getting a little loosening in that neck. Keep going and keep breathing. Good. Come to the end of that. Again, engaging abdominals, keeping the knees bent as you roll up. Trying to open up through that spine. And head comes upright. Good. All right, let's go into a parallel position, still with our feet right underneath our hips. And we're just going to reach through our arms. So we're going to lift up through the rib cage here and stretch other side. Reach through that rib cage and stretch. Two more. Reach it up and lift and reach and up. Now we're going onto the diagonal where the ceiling and the wall meet.
reach. And our rib cage is continuing to be the motivator here. Reach, so our ribs are moving out, but our lower body is standing exactly where it is. Good. Reach, and we have one more in each direction. Reach to that diagonal. Reach. Now we're going to reach to the side. Arms come down. Reaching out. And we're allowing our upper body to follow that reach because the ribs are pushing us out. And reach. And reach. Ribs out. And out. Good. Come to neutral position. Let's just gently bend the knees as our arms swing down and up. And then down and up. And then down and lift once more. And then down and up. Good. Let the arms come down. Let's open into a much wider parallel position here. And just start to push through our hips. So we're pushing through the IT band here. Upper body is counterbalancing that. You might feel a little stretch on the inside thigh. And come up and over and push out. Good. Just opening up through the hips. Push. And up and over. And push. And we have two more. So as your hips are moving, you're getting a little bit of action in the upper legs, but you're also getting a little bit of action in the lower spine. And push. Good. And push. Excellent. Come up to a neutral position. Let's bend our knees and repeat that and see if we can get a little bit more outward motion with that hip. Again, inside hip and thigh may feel like it's doing some work. Keeping the knee out over the toe there. And push through in that bend position, other side. And push. And out. We have two more sets. Each time, try to get a little more range of motion there. Good. And out. And once more. Out. And out. Let's come to a neutral position and stand up straight. Let's do the same thing with our hips going forward and back. So now we're going to push our hips forward. Our upper body is going to counterbalance by going back. Opening up the hip flexors here. Now we're going to stick our butt out so we feel the fold there. Our upper body is going to come forward. And press forward. Trying to keep those legs straight. And back. And hips forward, pushing. And back. And once more. Push forward. Good. And back. Let's come back to neutral position and bend our knees going under the toes. And same thing. We're pushing those hips forward, but our knees are bent, so you may find that you can get a little more forward motion through the hips. And keep the knees bent. And push back. So it's kind of like you're sticking your butt out there. And then come forward, pushing through. Good. And back. Two more. And forward. And back. Excellent. And forward. And back. Let's come up to a neutral position, straightening. And we're going to take circles. So with the straight legs, we're pushing forward, moving through in that diagonal. Around to the back, really folding from the hips there, and around to the side. We have 4 sets of circles in this direction, nice and slow. And you may find there's some sort of in-between places, between the sides and the front and back, that you're getting a little more opening in the hips and the gluteus, and maybe in the spine, because the spine is, of course, attached to those hips. And circle around. And then we're going to come to the front and reverse this. So here we go. And push to the other diagonal and around. Good. And as we go in the opposite direction, you may find that certain areas are getting a little bit more opening because of the change of direction in our motion. We have 2 more. And circle. And enjoy this. It's almost like giving a massage in our hip area, and we have 1 more circling around. Good. And here, come to the front and come to a neutral position. Just for a second, let's shake out the legs and come out of that wide second position before we repeat this in a bent knee position. And then come back to your position, bend the knees, keeping the knees out over the toes. We're going to push the hips forward Now remember, we're counterbalancing with our upper body as we go around, so it's going in the opposite direction as that hip. With the knees bent, you may find you can really get in there a little bit more and get a deeper stretch and opening. We have 2 more in this direction, going around. Don't rush it, because we really want to feel the gradual opening, more opening in this whole circle here. And then when we come to the front, once more, we're going to reverse that. Still our knees are bent, and make sure that your knees are going out over the toes, around, good, all the way. Notice what might feel a little bit different going in this direction. All the way around, good. And we have 2 more. Breathing. And push it back. And around. Good. And here goes the last one. See if you can make it really big. And around. To the side. And front. Good. Come to a neutral position and straighten up. And let's bring our legs together. Just shimmy a little bit, just to release a little bit through those hips. So now we're going to bring our feet into a more tighter parallel position. We're just going to push the heel forward, and I want you to push it towards the toe, not out away. Pushing it through the toe and come down. Repeat that. So we're going to do 4 in this direction and down. And lift it up and down. And lift it up and down. Let's go to the other side. Heel goes towards the big toe and down. So we're stretching out through the instep, the bottom of your foot, sole of your foot, and down, and working the ankle joint and down. Now we're going to repeat. We're going to go up and down. Now we're going to push back and straighten the leg and get our weight on the heel and let the toe come up. Our hip will go back a little bit and come forward. So rocking forward and back and forward and back. Good. And once more. Forward and back. Let's take it to the other side. Settle and forward. Push back and get that heel on the floor, toes up so the hip goes back. And forward and back and forward and back. Good. And forward and back. Come down. We're going to rotate the legs out. Knees go out. If you bend them over to the toes so that you have alignment of the hip and the ankles there. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to lift the heel up and make sure it goes to the big toe and down. 4 of these. Lift and down. Keeping the hips right underneath the shoulders and lift. Good. Change to the other side and heel lifts and down and lift. Good. Down and lift it up. And down, and lift, and down. Now we're going to go into that second exercise. And what's going to happen here is as you shift and lift that toe up, you're going to find you're shifting out to the side. So there's a little bit of a balance there. And down, lift, down, and shift, and release. So here we go. And down, and lift it up, foot down, lift it up. And down, and push it out. 1 more, and lift, press it down, shift it as you lift that toe up and down. Let's take it to the other side, and lift, and down. Now we have to balance, find that place where we can stay here with the toe coming up, and down, and lift, press it down, and up, and down. 2 more, and lift, and down, press it up, and release, and push it up, and down, and lift, and release. Good. Let's bend our knees out of our toes as our hands come to our hips, and straighten up using the inside thighs. Knees go up over the toes. Good. And straighten. So we're kind of working on that lower leg in the Achilles, and in your calf muscle, bend and straighten. Good. Let's go into a wide position, keeping our hands where they are. And we're going to repeat just the bent knee position here. Bend knees, go over the toes, and straighten. So in order to do this and maintain this rotation, as you straighten, you're feeling the inside thighs coming together and you're engaging the glutes a bit. And bend, and straighten. And we have one more. And bend, and straighten. Now we're going to use a heel lift as we bend on the right leg. Bend, and straighten, heel down. Go to the other side. Bend, lift the heel, and straighten. We have 4 complete sets for this. Out and up. You may notice that your legs get some work. And straighten. 2 more sets. Bend, and straighten, and bend, and straighten. Lifting that heel up over the toe, big toe, and straighten, and bend, and straighten. Good. Come all the way up. Let's heel toe in and shake out through those hips a little bit. Just to see what happens when we start using the ankle joint and the hip joint. They're connected. See how much more flexibility you have in your hips. Let's try another hip exercise. So we're going to lift that foot up, and we're going to tilt the hip up and down, and up and down, and up and down, and up and down. Heel down, go to the other side, heel lifts. Lift the hip up and down. Lift and down. Good. Up and down. Lift and down. Come down, let's come back once more. And this time we're going to go up and center. Push it out to the side. And lift it up and down. Push it out and center. Still maintaining that heel up. Going out towards that big toe. And once more, up, center, and out, and center. Release it. Let's straighten up for a second. Shimmy. And then come back into that bent knee position. Lift heel up. Remember the heel is going towards the big toe. And hips up and down and center. Good. And up and down and center. 2 more. And lift and down and out. Center and lift and down and out and center. Put the heel down and straighten up. So you may have noticed that you had more flexibility, partially because we've opened up any blocks from the ankles, as well as working on those hips. Let's shift our positions a bit here and work with our shoulders. So we're going to lift the right shoulder up and down and lift, down. Lift it up and down and up. Other side, lifting up and down. Push it down, up and down and lift and down. Good. Up and down. Right's going to go forward, keeping it so that it's level, that you're not lifting it up towards your ears. Back and forward and back. Good. Forward and back and forward. Other side and go front and back and front and back. Excellent. Front and back and front and back. Let's bring our arms up. We're going to clasp the hands together. I'm going to turn slightly to the diagonal so you can see what I'm doing. And because we've opened up the shoulders, we're now going to take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we push both shoulders forward with the action of our hands going forward too. So you're opening up the upper back, right around the shoulder, above the shoulder blade, maybe involving the shoulder blades a little bit. Now release it, bring the arms out. We're going to take our hands together, clasp them to the back, and now push the hands away so that now our shoulders are going in the opposite direction towards the back. You feel an opening in the front of your throat and collarbone area. Let's take that once more. Hands go out, clasp them together, inhale. Exhale, push the shoulders forward as the hands reach forward. So you're opening up the upper, very top of the back there. And then open, and let's take it to the opposite direction. Hands together, inhale. Exhale, feel the shoulders going to the back. So we're just opening up that throat area a little bit. Good, and release. Let's bend our knees. Put the back hand around here. And at your waist, I'm going to just circle those arms up, reach, twist the upper body, hips stay front, forward, lift, open, back, forward, lift, open, back, forward, lift, open to the back. Come swinging forward, and we're going to reverse that. So our upper body is going against our hips. Reach, lift, forward. So it's not just an arm exercise here. We're trying to open up in that mid-back, mid-torso area as the hips stay still. Up and around and back. Lift up, around and down. Straighten up. Let's go to the other side. You don't have to shift. I'm just trying to make it easier for you to see. Knees are bent out over the toes. And we reach that arm forward. Lift it up. Allow the torso to twist. Reach to the back and down. Now you may find that one side feels less flexible than the other. And as you have the hand around at your waist, it sort of reminds you to keep your hip forward. So we're getting that twisting action. Lift, around, back, and then come forward. Let's reverse that. Reach, lift, up, over, and down. Reach, lift, up, over, and front. Reach it to the back. Use your breath. Lift. It helps if you're watching with your eyes. And back. Lift up, over, front, and down. Good. Straighten up. Let's come back to the rib cage for a moment. Hands here. And instead of doing the ribs over to the side with the arms out, we're going to just push those ribs separately and then reverse it to the other side. So now you can notice that you don't have to shift and tilt through your shoulders and your heads as much as we did when we had our arms out reaching. Again, 2 more sets. Out to the side. And side. And out. And out. Come to neutral position. Let's take that front. So you're really sticking your rib cage out there. And then pushing it back, which is a little bit more unusual movement for most of us. And forward. And back. And forward. And back. Good. And forward. And back. Come back to the neutral position. We're going to bend our knees, just as we did in our hips. I want you to see how it feels with your knees bent. And reach out. And you may find that you can get a little farther out there. And side. And out. Good. 2 more. Reach out. And side. And reach out. Good. And side. Let's come to neutral. Straighten the legs for a moment, just to give our legs a bit of a rest. Our thighs bend. And now we're going forward. Can you tell if there's any difference as you go back and forward? Here we go. Front. When you have your knees bent, as opposed to when your legs are straight, you may find a bigger range of motion, as I mentioned before. And back. And forward. And back. Good. Come to neutral position. Stand up straight. Let's take those circles, legs straight. So we're pushing forward, moving through the circle, pushing all the way back and around, coming forward. Now, if you haven't done this kind of motion before, it may feel like you can't even find the muscles to do this. But the more you do it, you'll be able to separate this whole rib cage from your lower spine. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do, is to open up each individual part of the body and allow it to unblock. Let's go to the front and reverse that. We're trying to isolate them. In dance, we would call an exercise like this an isolation. So we give attention to each part of the body and then put it all together. So the whole body feels loosened. To the side and then back and around. Let's take that once more. Front, really push it up to the side. Good. And back and side. Coming around to the front and then neutral. Let's do the same thing, bending the knees. Ribs go front. We're going over to the right, keeping the shoulders down, to the back. Trying to make that big circle. Around and front. Hopefully by this time, you're getting a little bit more idea of what muscles to use to make this circle if you haven't been familiar with this motion before. Hips stay nice and still because we're really isolating this rib cage. And around to the back and side. Coming back to the front, and we're going to reverse that, circling around, shoulders stay down, to the back, good, and side, and front. Again, to the side, and back, good, and side, and front. Two more, and side, and back, excellent, side, and front. Last time around, and back, and side, and front. Come to a neutral position and straighten up. You may find that you start to all of a sudden have a heat blast because you've unblocked some area of your body where there's been held tension. Let's go back to working with our feet. So we're going to go in that parallel position. We're going to push up through the ball of foot, push through the toes, go to the side, toes, and drop down. So we're lunging into that leg. Push straighten, get the heel up, toe comes up, and then push down. We're going to take that to the other side. I'm going very slow here. So we're lifting the heel up, toes, push over, toe, and heel down. Knee goes out with the toe, and push up, heel, toe, come back in and down. So that's our general motion, and I want you to work with the feet. So we're doing this in a parallel lunge. We'll go faster, but that's the action. We really do use the feet. So from here, bend, push, land, drop, up, in, down, bend, lift, up, push, land, up, and in, down, up, and land, down, up, and down, and up, and land, and up, and down, and lift, and drop, and come up, and down, and lift, and drop. Let's take one more, and down, and lift, and drop, and up, and down, and push through, and land, and up, and down. Good. Opening up into second parallel. Just trying to get everything to stay nice and loose here. We're going to take some reaches again with our hip going down. So knee bends, both knees bend. This arm comes up. Now, as we reach with the rib up, we're going to drop the hip down. So I'm pushing the hip down as I reach through that rib to get a little more side body opening. And release. And rib up, hip down. And release. Rib up, hip down. Stretch it. Good. Release. Rib up, hip down. And release. Let's switch to the other side. Hip goes down as the rib goes up. And release. And opening up that side body, good, but also working with the lower spine now. You can feel the lower spine move as the hip goes down, the rib comes up. And once more, repeat, push it down, and release, good. All right, so I think we're ready to work with the middle of our body. We've been sort of moving down and then up. And so let's go into a side position once again. We've got our feet in parallel position, our knees bent, and are sticking our butts out. We're going to put our hands on our knees and start with a nice straight spine there. And we're going to do our cats and cows. But I really want you to focus on that lower back. So from here, we're going to push that lower back, tilting the hips, and you find that your whole body then will reflect what that lower back is doing. So it's curved. We've got our abdominals engaged. Pushing through the hips. And now we let the spine go into an arch and our bellies go down. Again, rolling up through that lower back. Hands are nice and loose. Push through and allow the body to go in the opposite direction. So you've got an arch and spine. This is your cat. And roll it. Coming into the cat. Head is down. Curve that lower back. Your upper back is going to be engaged because the spine is all attached, but I want you to really focus on the lower back. And here we go, lower back, up, and push through and arch. Now we're going to exaggerate this by rolling through the back, getting into that cat position, and now we're going to roll all the way up through the spine, hands can slide up. Pushing through the hips, we're going into that arch, knees bend, and we slide the hands down as we go into an exaggerated cow. Again, lower back. Really be very thoughtful about this. So you're rolling through the spine because we're trying to create more flexibility and space in the vertebra, in between the vertebra, arching down. Hands go with you. Again, getting into that cat first, and then pushing up and rolling. Coming up, you might feel this in your neck. and arch down all the way. Good. And then once more. Let's roll up through that spine. Good. Coming upright. And then arching back down all the way. Now let's go from this arched position and fold, continue that arch all the way down. So their hands drop to the floor. Once again, let's shake our heads no. And shake our heads yes. Again, no. And yes. The more you deepen this bent knee position, the more easier it's going to be for you to touch the floor. But if you're not touching the floor, you've got your hands on your legs somewhere, that's absolutely fine. So from here, wherever your hands are, we're going to keep that head drop and breathe in as we bend a little bit more, and then push the hips straight up to the sky, going as straight as you can, keeping that fold in the hips. You may not come to a full straight leg, that's okay. This is our first real contact with the hamstrings. And again, bend and breathe, let that head be loose, shoulders are loose. And straighten and lift. Maybe you get a little farther forward, you may really be feeling this as a challenge. And then bend, third time, inhale. Exhale, hips lift up, hips go down. And once more, bend as the hips come down, inhale. Exhale, and push the hips up as the heads go down. Excellent. Your legs, as I say, may not be completely straight, but you should be feeling a stretch from the glutes down towards your knees, particularly in the upper thigh. Now from here, let's go all the way down into a squat, and then shift your position to lift your heels up. So our bodies are up right now, and we're going to do a little stretching through the Achilles and lower legs. So we're going to rock back a little bit, trying to send our heels towards the floor, but you may find also that we've got a curve in that spine, and we're still opening up that lower spine. And rock forward, breathing, and then press back. Just pushing back a little bit, lengthening the lower back and through the calf muscles, and rock forward, breathing, and press back. Good. And once more, rock forward, and then press back. Now we're going to try somehow, very gracefully, to get to the floor. So you can either take your hands behind and sit down, or you may have your own special way of doing that. And let's come to a position where we're sitting upright. And I want you to make sure that you've got the divine flesh out from underneath you. You're supporting yourself with your hands so that back, lower back is straight. I don't want to see a curve there. And you have your elbows bent and your shoulders are down. We're going to work just with the feet. So opening the legs up a little bit. We're going to flex out through the heel, push through the balls of feet and point. Repeat. Flex, balls of feet and point. Two more. Flex, balls of feet and point. And once more. Flex, balls of feet and point. Now we're going to circle the feet. So we're bringing the toes towards each other and then away. So we have big toe being the toe that's really guiding this circle around. And you notice that your ankle is going to really open up and release any tension you've been holding there. You want to have some flexibility in that ankle joint so that if we trip or come onto uneven surface roads, we can balance and not fall down. And then we're going to reverse the circle and make the little toe be the originator of the circle. So you're going to find that you get a different kind of a stretch there, around in the ankle. Good. And circle. Around, let's take once more, and reach out, and around, and then beat the thighs out, and let them just relax. Okay, we're going to come back to a tighter position, and again, we're trying to keep our divine flesh out from underneath us, and we get our back nice and straight. We're going to work with that upper hamstring area a bit. So feet are pointed, arms are up, shoulders are down. Don't let the shoulders lift with you. Take a deep breath in as you lift out of the hips, and then we're going to just lean forward with a flat back to where you can handle. And you will notice that you start to feel something up at the top of your thighs and the back in the hamstring. There. Keeping a flat line, we've got this acute angle here with our bodies. And then come upright. Deep breath in Lift up and try and fold over. You can go just exactly where you were in that angle, or if you can go a little bit farther, that's great, but you do want to make sure that your backs are straight and your legs are as straight as they can be. If they need to have their knees bent a little bit, you can, but it's the back that we want straight. And come upright. Let's take that 2 more times. Deep breath in. Exhale. And over to that diagonal line. Reaching out with those arms, shoulders are down. And come upright. And one more time. Breathe up, over, flat, diagonal line there. Good. And come upright. Okay, your arms might be feeling a little tired. We're going to repeat this and put a variation onto it. So feet are pointed, arms up, lift up. Now, as we lean over, we're going to bring our hands behind, flex the hands, and still have that flat back, and now flex the heels. So we've got this interesting push back with the hands, forward with the torso, and flex up with our feet. So we're, again, engaging it at the hamstrings there, but in a slightly different way. Come down, point the feet, reach the arms up. Breathe up. Exhale. Torso folds over on that diagonal line. Flex the hands and the feet, and feel the hands and the feet working away from each other as you fold from that crease in the front of the hips. And come forward, lift, point the feet. 2 more. Breathing up, getting up on the sit bones so that they're out. We're not pushing or jamming into the hips. We're lifting up and out. Hands go away. Make sure that your shoulders are staying down, not lifting out to your ears, and then come forward, point, arms come up. Here's the last time. Lift, push forward, flex, reach out. Feeling the opposition of the heels reaching away in front and your hands, palms of the hands going to the back. And what is your torso doing? It's staying straight. And then come up and lift. Good. Let's bring the legs up towards us. I'm going to turn directly side. And we're going to again go into that lower back, making sure that the divine flesh is underneath you. You've got that spine straight. Hands are right on your knees to help you. And now we're curving that back, that cow once more. Here we go, pushing it out and feeling the abdominals engage. And then we're pushing through the hips and rolling up through a slight cow. And then again, rippling back, push. Letting it go all the way to the back. Good. Push through the hips, ripple, coming through a slight cow to an upright position. 2 more. And roll. Breathing. Making go all the way back. Good. And push through, ripple, come upright and straight. Let's take that once more. Remember those shoulders stay down. Roll through that lower back. Good. And then push through, lift, and come upright. So we just practiced working through our hips, and we're going to now have our legs out, and we're going to go through that stretch we did with a diagonal into a full body stretch. So again, make sure that divine flesh is out from underneath you, feet are pointed, arms up, and we lift, and we go through that diagonal. We're still folding from the crease in the hip there. Drop the hands down, and you're going to lower the body down. Now, everybody's going to be in a different position here. We may have some bent knees, but you're folding from that crease in the front of the hip there, just to increase the stretch through the hamstrings and the legs, and you may feel it in your lower back as well. Let's take some deep breaths here together, breathing in. As we exhale, let's make a noise and allow the body to drop over. So we have it's a little sigh. You may find that you're able to release through the muscles and get a little farther over. Repeat, deep breath in and exhale, sigh. Let's take 2 more. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, and release. And last time, deep breath in and exhale, and release. And just relax, shake that head up, make sure the head is dropped. Let's shake our shoulders a bit, shake our hips a little bit, and see if that eases out a little bit more so that you can get a little farther over, feeling a more pronounced stretch in the hamstrings and maybe in the lower back. You know, we're all going to feel it in slightly different places.
And then slowly roll up. You can walk your hands up and try to roll up through the spine here and come to an upright position. All right, let's take our hands behind and we're going to flex the feet and we're going to push the front foot forward. So you're get a little tilt in the hips. And then come to neutral and push to the other side. So the left hip is going forward. And push. Front hip goes forward and you notice your torso is twisting. And release and push. And let's repeat 2 more times. Push front hip forward. And then the back hip forward. And as you press that hip forward, you notice your torso twists. Press forward. Good. And then come back to neutral and push the back hip forward. Heel goes up. Good. And come to neutral and relax and let's beat the thighs out. Now we're going to repeat our stretch forward, our forward fold with flexed feet, which are it's going to cause more stretch in the hamstrings. So be gentle, go as far as you can, and if your knees are bent, that's fine too. Okay, so sitting up tall, again, adjust the divine flesh, flex the feet out, arms come up. Lifting up out of those hips with our breath in, and then we're folding over that diagonal line. And you can really feel where exactly, as you lower down, your hamstring is getting stretched. Keeping those heels flexed, drop the head down, and let's shake that head out so it's really nice and loose. And then shoulders, and then the hips. And let's take those 4 breaths, trying to maintain the flexed position, really folding from those hips. Deep breath in. As you exhale, sigh, and try and lower. Maybe your fingers pinch forward a little bit more. Second breath, inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. And once more, breathe in. And exhale. Once again, let's shake that head out. And the shoulders, the hips. And just see if that helps you lengthen out a little bit more over the legs. Feeling stretch in the hamstring as well as lower back and perhaps your own individual place. And then walking the hands back up as you roll up through the spine. We're going to come upright. And then release the feet and beat the thighs out. Okay. We're going to shift our focus now to the inside thigh. And so again, let's sit up nice and tall. Our legs are pretty far apart. And we've got our hands behind to support us, but without our shoulders lifting up. And we're going to drop that right knee down as we twist this right hip over. The left knee stays upright to the sky, so this is your anchor. And then we come up, keep this anchor, and see if you can open out the hip. And come up, move it over inside, and you may find that you get a little more range of motion. And lift and open it. Now, most of us feel very comfortable opening up, and then when we come to moving inwards, it feels a little strange. It might feel like it's wrong, but the truth is that hip joint is meant to go in this direction as well. Lift and open. Good. And let's take once more. Drop it down. And you may find that you've got a lot more freedom of movement there. It feels easier, and you can get a little farther over. Lift. Anchoring with this leg, you're opening up through that thigh. Good. Come upright. Let's reset to make sure if we've sort of slid a little bit, we've got our divine flesh is up from underneath our sit bones, and let's take it to the left. So this first time is going to feel not so great because we're not used to doing this. And then up and open. And you may find that one side is easier for you to work this motion than the other. So shoulders down, we are supporting ourselves. Maybe the second time feels a little bit better, and we can get a little farther. And up and open. And remember, we are anchoring now with that right leg. Lift. We have 2 more sets. Drop it down. Good. Really feel that opening that's happening there. And lift and open. Let's take it once more. And up and down. And you may see a huge change from the first time that we did this.
and up and open. Good. Let's come upright. Let's bring the legs down, and once again, shake them out by leaving the thighs on the floor. Good. We're going to come back up and let's open this position even more. So we're going to repeat this so that we can get a little bit more action in that hip to prepare us for our final stretch. So from here, shoulders are down, and now we're going to rock that right leg in. This is anchoring here on the left, and come up. And now as we go to the outer position, we may find we get more of a stretch in the inside thigh there. And coming in, and drop. Good. And lift, and open. So what we're really doing here is freeing the hip joint from any tightness or habitual patterns of holding, so that we have more range of motion, we have more flexibility through the hip joint. You know, we sit so often and for so long, especially these days when some of us are working from home and we're on Zoom, that this is such an important area for us to really free up and release. Okay, just by sitting up tall here, you may find that this hip now and leg feels a little bit different, a little freer than this side. Let's take it to the other direction. So we're dropping it down. Good. And again, first time might not be as flexible as the last time. And come up and open, anchoring with the right. And up and over. Good. And lift. And open, and you notice that my knee and foot are in alignment. We're trying to make them stay in alignment, and then the knee and the hip. So all of these three joints here, hip, knee, and ankle, have integrity. They are lined up. Open, and let's take that once more. Here we go. And over and down. Good. Big difference in how that hip feels. And open. Good. Come to neutral position, stretch those legs out and bring them in, and let's just shake them out for a moment. Okay, here's where we're going to go to our fullest extent, and we still want to have the divine flesh out from underneath here. I do not expect people to be as flexible as I am, so please go to the place where you still can maintain a straight back here. We're going to just flex the feet out, push through the balls of the feet and point. We're sitting up tall, flex. Push through the balls of the feet and point. And flex. Push through the balls of the feet and point. And let's take that once more. Flex. Push through and point. Now we're maintaining some rotation here in the hips. We're not trying to roll in. So again, hips, knees, ankles, toes are all in alignment. And let's just push through one hip. So we're rocking side to side. And you'll notice that your leg may sort of bend a little bit as you rock side to side. But we're just, again, helping our hips to feel comfortable in this wide-legged position. Some of you may find that you've got some stretch already happening in the inside thigh here. And come back to the left side and neutralize. Let's flex the feet out. This gives us a little different way of stretching through the inside thigh with our hips rocking, because we keep this still. So we're pushing through, and you may find you get a little bit more stretch through the up inside part of that thigh, and push through because our feet are staying stationary there. Reach, and once more, push through. Good. And over, and let's take that once more. And push through, and push through. Good. Okay, relax the feet. Let's just shake them out a little bit. Maybe beat the thighs a little bit. And let's wiggle the hips a little bit. Good. Okay, coming upright, feet point. That rotation is happening. Hands down in front of you. We're going to roll the top of our head down. Chin goes to the chest. We're going to go through the spine, opening up the upper part of the spine, sliding the hands forward, rolling through the mid-back, and then eventually to the lower back. Now, if this is as far as you get, that's absolutely fine. You should be feeling this in the inside thighs. But if you can go a little farther, you're going to reach the hands forward and feel the crease in front of the hip. Same kind of position when we were doing a forward fold with the legs straight out in front of us. So we want the hips to be the lever and head is nice and loose. Let's take 4 breaths. And each time you exhale, you're going to make a noise and see if you can lower yourself a little bit more without involving the lower spine.
It's really coming from the hips, and you're going to find an increased stretching inside thigh. So here we go. Breath in. And exhale, sigh. Reaching a little farther forward. Repeat. Breath in. And exhale. Gently lowering. And breath in. And exhale. And last set. Inhale. And exhale. Letting the head drop. Let's wiggle the head out. Shoulders out. Might be able to wiggle your hips a little bit. And just see if that allows your body to gently drop forward a little bit more. And then once again, walking the hands up, rolling up through the spine, heads roll down, because you're working through that spine, and then come to an upright position. Good. Let's gently bring the legs together and shake them out. And let's rock side to side. So we're going to lift the hip up and up. So this is similar to what we were doing when our legs were out in that open position, but because they're straightened forward, we can get up a little higher. And it does involve that lower back too. Okay. All right, from here, let's take our legs and bend them. You can have either leg in front. And again, divine flesh up from underneath. And already you may feel like you can do this more easily because we've opened up the thighs. We're going to take a side body stretch. So we're going to take our right hand and drop it down, trying to keep this left hip on the floor and see how far down you can get with that right elbow. If this is it, that's fine. But now I'm going to add an arm and stretch it over. So the left arm is going over and across, and the left hip is going down. Really opening up. Don't let yourself close up. We want it to be open so you can really feel that nice side stretch there. Good. And slowly push up with that right hand, and we're going to take it to the other side. The left arm goes down, and we got the elbow going down as far as we can. Right hip stays down as the right arm goes over, and the arm goes in the opposite direction as that hip staying down, keeping the body open, letting that head be nice and loose. Let's take 3 more sets of these. So we're going to push with the left hand, come up, swing over, drop, reach. Left hip is down as we reach the left arm over, and you feel that side body stretch. It also is working through the spine. Push, lift, breathe, elbow down. Reach, right arm reaches out, and right hip goes down. 2 more, push, lift, up. Use your breath. We feel that nice side stretch. We're opening up and increasing the ability for you to have room to really use your lungs and breathe more deeply. Reaching over to the side, keeping the right hip down. Last set, push up, breathe, lengthen. Left hip is down, left arm is over, and you may find that you're getting even farther over. Good, let's go to the other side. Stretch, right hip down, right arm over, opening that right side body. Good, and come up right. Good. You might feel like you've grown a little bit through the spine. Let's keep our shoulders down and work with our heads. So our heads go down, chin goes down, feeling and stretching the neck, and lift up. Opening up through the front of your body. And again, drop it down, keeping the spine nice and tall, chin goes down, and come up. 2 more, and drop it down. And lift it up. And drop it down. And lift it up. Come to a neutral position. Now let's take our head over to the side. Keeping the shoulder down, you'll feel a twist and an opening in the side of the throat there. And then moving over to the other side. Still sitting up nice and tall. Make sure that you haven't slumped and gotten the lower back involved here. It really should be right up on those sit bones so the spine can align correctly and with ease. Other side. And here we go, 2 more. Reach to the side. Coming across and look. It may have increased your range of motion here, and may have eased out any tension you might have felt originally. And then come over to the last side. And then come to the neutral position. Let's once again make sure we've got the divine flesh out. If this position is uncomfortable for you, you can have the legs out in front of you. So we've got our back straight, and let's take circles. We're dropping the head down, chin down, circling it over to the right.
And it's again, those in-between positions, all the way up, chin goes straight up, around to the left, good, and drop it down, we have 3 more. It's those in-between places that sometimes are holding even more tightness or blockages, and doing this for your neck will help to really ease out some of that. And we have 2 more circles going around to the right. Breathing up, chin goes straight up, around, and coming down. We have 1 more. Sometimes we hear a whole lot of sort of crunching noises in the back of our neck. And this is what we're trying to smooth out and release. And then going down, we're going to immediately go in the opposite direction, so we're moving to the left. Coming up, around to the side, and drop it. And continuing breathing, spine up straight, lift, and around, and down. Sometimes people like to have their eyes open while they're doing this. Sometimes people like to have their eyes closed. You get to choose, or you can do a combination of that. And coming down, and we have 1 more circle. Good. All the way around. Lift, over to the side, and all the way down, and then bring your head back up to a neutral position. All right, we're going to come to a standing position to finish class. So folding over, let's come to our hands and knees position. So you've got your knees right underneath your hips and your hands right underneath your shoulders, your back is straight. We're going to curl our toes under and do a push back, keeping the heels right where they are, and you're going to find you get a little bit of more of a stretch maybe in that back, pushing your hips back. Good. And then walk your hands towards you. We're going to continue to push back, so our heels go on the floor, stretching out the Achilles, maybe your lower spine as well. And then from here, hands come a little bit closer to you. We're going to come all the way straight up with the legs, with our bodies down. Deep breath in, pushing the heels down, pushing the hips up, and you're going to find you have a little bit more range of motion here in terms of your hamstrings. You're really folding from the hips there. And now let's bend the knees and let's go back into that roll up all the way through the spine and come upright. And just before you move, I want you to notice how tall you should be feeling at this point, because we've really opened up all of the joints, and so you may feel length. Maybe your spine's crown. Okay, let's come to the center. We have we have a parallel, feet underneath the hips, and let's just rise with the arms lifting. Inhale, clasping the hands together, bringing your hands to your heart chakra, and give thanks to your body for opening up and really stretching and lengthening and freeing any places where there's blocks. Have a wonderful rest of the day.